Summer is nearly here, which means more time spent near the water. But are your children ready to take the plunge?
Water Safety Month kicks off in May, so there's no time like the present to talk about getting your family ready for the lake. And we're happy to welcome Robert McDonald to the CCO studio today. He's the training manager at Foss Swim School. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
We know Minnesotans love the water, especially as it gets warm, but there are obviously real dangers when it comes to swimming, be it a pool or lake, especially if you're not good at swimming.
Absolutely.
What are some of those dangers that stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, just there's so many, right? Not educating your children to understand the dangers, the potential dangers, all the way down to parents just not being having an awareness around the water. So many parents are just, you know, the pool or the lake is a great place to relax, and we can tend to disconnect from that. We can tend to be on our devices. We can tend to pull out a book. But the reality is that in order to keep our kids safe, we need to be hyper vigilant on keeping our eyes on them at all times, and also educating them on what they can do to be safe, starting at the youngest age possible.
And a part of keeping your eye on them is the bright colored swimsuits here. Let's talk about what's in front of us.
Yeah, so there's a few key things that we really want people to understand. First and foremost, you want to set expectations with your kids. You want them to always ask for permission before going to any body of water, and you want them to understand that they should never swim alone. Parents, like I said before, should always be watching their kids. We ask parents to kind of designate a water watcher. That's someone that's going to be distraction free.
They don't have to be wearing this.
Right.
It's really cool if they do, right? Yeah, but they should be distraction free, watching the kids. And with that, increased visibility is huge. So that's where these come in, right? So your typical like darker colored navy blues, grays, those don't pop in the water, especially when you're in dark water environments like the lake or shorelines where there's shadows being casted, or deep pools where the light's not refracting. These, however, pop, right? So super vibrant neon colors are key to allowing you to spot your kids in those environments while you're already keeping your eyes on them at all times.
One other tip we have here is called flip to breathe. What does that mean?
Yeah, so typically kids, kids have really big heads in relation to their bodies. They're really disproportional. So we don't want to teach them to get into a vertical position. Treading water is not good for like 3-year-old kids, but actually teaching them to float on their stomach, flip onto their back, that allows them to gain composure, get energy, take a breath, and then flip back to swim is the absolute safest way to teach children at a young age.
Wow.
Okay. Would not have known that.
That is a new one, absolutely. So you say it's important to implement barriers and alarms.
Sure, absolutely.
What does that
mean? Families that have their own pools, it's really important to create those barriers for protection, gates, fences, alarms, make sure that there's a hindrance from kids getting into that playground environment unsupervised, and that's so important, especially for families that have students on the autism spectrum.
You
want
brought
to
that up
those
too.
barriers.
I mean, we know sometimes kids with autism are drawn to water, whether they're supposed to be swimming or not. Why should these parents and guardians be paying extra attention? Yeah,
kids on the autism spectrum tend to be drawn to water. The sensory input that it provides, it creates that a special feeling, sound, just an environment as a whole. And with that draw actually can create some negativity. Kids on the autism spectrum are estimated to be 160 times more likely to die from drowning than their peers. So we really want to create those barriers if you do have a pool environment, and then there's other things that we can do as well.
And you can learn even more by taking lessons at Foss Swim School.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Just lessons in general, right? So children on the autism spectrum, you want to, whether it's at Foss or anywhere, you want to create a connection with the teacher where there's a partnership, right? You want to use the parent to really figure out what's best for the child, learn what's working well at home, learn what's working well at school, and create an adaptable lesson that's best for that student's needs that can allow them to be safe, but also allow them to love water.
Yeah, if people just want to sign up for lessons for their kid, no matter where they are on the spectrum or not, where can they find out more info?
Absolutely, you can head to our website, and we're actually, spring is almost over, but we're starting the enrollment process on May 6th of next week at 9:30 a.m.
Okay, good luck on that start of that season.